This message found you for a reason. That isn't just a phrase, it's a signal. A moment when something invisible nudges you. And suddenly you click, you listen, you feel. Not by accident. Not by random chance. You were guided here. Some people hear this and think, that's just coincidence. But coincidences are usually the universe's way of speaking around the edges of your awareness. What you are feeling right now. Pressure, restlessness, curiosity, confusion, longing. These are not random. These are signs that your inner world is trying to catch your attention. Maybe you've been ignoring something. Maybe there's a truth you've been avoiding. Maybe growth feels slow. But you're closer than you think. This deck is not here to tell you your fortune. It is here to reflect who you already are. And to show you what you need to see. So listen closely. Not with your mind. But with your awareness. Open your heart to what is true. Now imagine that life is like a journey. And you are standing at a path fork. One path looks familiar. Safe. Comfortable. But the same decisions, the same loops. The same stories repeat there. The other path feels unfamiliar. Maybe a little frightening. Maybe it feels like a risk. But it vibrates with possibility. This message is about that path. It is the path that asks you to notice what you have been longing for. Not what you have been settling for. Not what others expect from you. But what you secretly, quietly want. Some of you listening feel this in your body first. A tightness in the chest. A longing that doesn't make sense. A pull towards something you cannot name yet. This reading is for you. It is for people at pivotal moments. For those who feel like something has shifted. But they can't put a finger on it. You might be being asked to choose authenticity over comfort. To stop explaining your dreams and start living them. To stop postponing hope. And when you begin acting on the whisper of your intuition, doors begin to open. Not loudly, but unmistakably. A new alignment starts to form. This reading isn't about fear. It's about clarity. Not about where you've been. But where you are going. So wherever you are right now. In your life, in your heart, in your purpose. Consider this a moment of recognition. This message found you for a reason. Pay attention to what your heart pulls you toward. Because the most important changes in your life are the ones you didn't see coming. Until they were already happening. And right now, something very real is already happening in your life. You may not know what it is yet. But you are being prepared for it. And that preparation starts now. Right now, the energy around you feels heavy, but not negative. It feels like pressure before a breakthrough. Many of you listening are standing in a moment where your outer life does not fully match your inner growth. On the surface, things may look stable. Routine. Predictable. But internally, something has shifted. You are no longer satisfied with simply getting by. You want meaning. You want direction. You want to feel aligned with your choices again. This energy often appears when a cycle is coming to an end. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually. Like realizing you've outgrown a version of yourself without hating who you used to be. Some of you feel tired, not because you are weak, but because you have been strong for too long. Holding things together. Being responsible. Doing what needs to be done. And now your soul is asking a quiet question. Is this all there is? This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means you are evolving. The cards speak of awareness. A moment where you start seeing patterns clearly. Why certain situations repeat. Why certain people drift away. Why some doors never fully open. This awareness can feel uncomfortable. Because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. You may feel a strong urge to withdraw slightly. To think. To observe. To protect your energy. That is not isolation. That is preparation. Right now, the universe is not asking you to rush. It is asking you to notice. Notice where you feel drained. Notice where you feel inspired. Notice which thoughts keep returning no matter how much you distract yourself. Those recurring thoughts are messages. They are pointing towards something important. There is also a sense of rebuilding happening quietly. Even if your outer world looks the same, your inner foundation is changing. This is the kind of transformation that does not announce itself. But later, you will look back and realize this was the moment everything started to shift. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are in between. And being in between is not a mistake. It is a transition. At this stage of your journey, the main block is not lack of ability, luck, or opportunity. The real block is hesitation. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind that hides behind logic. You tell yourself you are being realistic. Responsible. Patient. But beneath that reasoning, there is fear of disruption. Fear of choosing wrong. Fear of losing what you already have, even if it no longer fulfills you. This energy shows a pattern of postponement. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting to feel more confident. Waiting for a sign that feels safe enough. But here is the truth. Clarity does not come before action. It comes because of action. You may feel pulled in two directions. One part of you wants growth, change, expansion. Another part wants stability, predictability, control. Neither side is wrong. But staying stuck between them creates inner tension. Some of you have been carrying expectations that were never truly yours. Family expectations. Social expectations. Old versions of success that no longer resonate. And yet, letting go of those expectations feels like letting someone down. Or letting go of an identity you worked hard to build. This is why the block feels emotional, not practical. There is also a strong theme of self-trust here. You have intuition, but you second-guess it. You sense when something is off, but you explain it away. You feel when a door is closing, but you keep knocking anyway. This creates exhaustion. The cards point to a need for honesty. Not with others, but with yourself. Ask yourself. What am I staying loyal to that is no longer aligned with who I am becoming? Another layer of this block is attachment to outcomes. Wanting guarantees. Wanting certainty before you move. But this next phase of your life does not come with a detailed map. It comes with direction. And direction is enough. You are not being asked to leap blindly. You are being asked to loosen your grip on control. Control has kept you safe. But it has also kept you small. This is not about abandoning everything. It is about releasing resistance. When you stop fighting the natural pull toward change, energy begins to move again. Opportunities start appearing in subtle ways. Conversations. Ideas. Invitations. But if you remain emotionally unavailable to change, you will not recognize them. This block is temporary. It exists only because you are standing at the edge of something new. And edges always feel uncomfortable. What you are being asked to release is not your stability, but your fear of instability. Because what comes next is not chaos. It is alignment. Even if it does not feel obvious yet, something around you is already shifting. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. But steadily. This is the kind of change that begins internally before it ever becomes visible in the physical world. You may notice small signs. A change in priorities. A shift in what excites you. A growing intolerance for things that once felt acceptable. What used to feel fine now feels heavy. What used to feel important now feels empty. And what once felt impossible now feels tempting. This is not random. You are entering a phase where alignment matters more than approval. Where truth matters more than comfort. Where progress matters more than perfection. The energy around you suggests movement after a period of stillness. Momentum building quietly. Some of you will experience this through unexpected conversations. Someone says something that stays with you. An idea lands and refuses to leave. An opportunity appears that you would not have considered before. Others will feel this as an inner decision. A line drawn quietly within yourself. A moment where you stop negotiating with your intuition. There is also a release happening. Old attachments loosening. Old fears losing their grip. Old narratives fading. You are no longer required to prove yourself in the same way. The need for validation is dissolving. What is coming next is clarity through experience. Not through overthinking. Not through waiting. You will learn by doing. By saying yes where you once said no. By stepping forward before you feel fully ready. This next chapter favors courage over certainty. You may feel guided to simplify your life. To reduce noise. To focus on what truly matters. This creates space. And in that space, new energy enters. The cards show growth that feels earned, not forced. Confidence that comes from self-trust, not external praise. For some of you, this brings new direction in work or purpose. For others, it brings emotional clarity. A deeper understanding of what you want and what you will no longer tolerate. This is not a sudden transformation. It is a recalibration. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more yourself. And as this happens, the right people, opportunities, and experiences begin to align naturally. You do not need to chase them. You only need to stay honest with yourself. What is coming next does not require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present. And you are more ready than you realize. As this message comes to a close, take a moment to notice how you feel. Not what you think, but what you feel. There is a reason this message stayed with you. A reason you listened until now. A reason certain words resonated more deeply than others. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything meant for you. Life moves in seasons, not straight lines. And this season is asking you to trust what is unfolding, even if the full picture is not yet clear. You do not need to force answers. You do not need to rush decisions. What is meant to align with you will do so naturally, as long as you remain honest with yourself. Pay attention in the days ahead. To your thoughts. To your reactions. To what feels light and what feels heavy. These are signals. Not distractions. If something begins to fall away, let it. If something new begins to call you, listen. You are not being tested. You are being guided. And guidance often arrives quietly, through moments like this one. So take what resonates, leave what does not. And trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now. This message found you for a reason.